Hello ladies and gentlemen, in this video we are going to cover the most important questions of second week of March 2020. Now let's start. Which state recently announced to provide credit guarantee of loans for higher education? So this decision was taken by Haryana government. Recently, Assam government also started similar scheme and the name of that scheme was Abhinandan scheme. Now Assam was also in news as it was the host of Khelo India Youth Games, and in these games, Maharashtra won the maximum number of medals while Haryana was on second position in terms of medal tally. Haryana was also in news because of Surajkund Mela. Answer in comment box which state was the theme state for this year's Surajkund Mela. Next question is related to QS World University Ranking. So, which engineering college of India has obtained the highest rank in QS World Ranking? So, right answer is IIT Mumbai. IIT Mumbai is the top Indian institute in engineering colleges across the globe. So, IIT Mumbai is top in India, while in terms of arts and humanities, JNU, that is Jawaharlal Nehru University, is on top position. It should be noted that in engineering colleges, there are only two Indian colleges which are in top 50, and these two are IIT Mumbai and IIT Delhi. Next question is, after the proposed amalgamation of 10 public sector banks into 4, what will be the total number of state-owned banks in our country? So the bank merger will be effective from 1st of April. And after this process, India will have 12 public sector banks. So right answer is 12. Now after the merger, the PNB, Oriental Bank of Commerce and UBI will amalgamate to form the India's second largest public sector bank. SBI is the largest public sector bank. Next question is related to Direct Tax Vivad Se Vishwas Bill. So as per the recent Direct Tax Vivad Se Vishwas Bill, what is the time limit within which taxpayers can pay the due tax? So the time limit is 31st of March 2020. It should be noted that it is a direct tax scheme. That means the scheme will be applicable only related to direct taxes, not related to indirect taxes. Last year, a similar scheme was started by the Finance Ministry for indirect taxes. Answer in comment box what was the name of that initiative. Now, if we talk about Finance Ministry, recently Union Finance Minister Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman launched common e-auction platform, and the name of this platform is e-Bikray. Shweta Rawat and Shalini Gupta, who were in news recently, are associated to which field? So these two are the DRDO scientists. DRDO stands for Defense Research and Development Organization, and it is under Defense Ministry. Recently, Defense Expo held in Lucknow, and during this expo, the India-African Nations Conclave was organized, and after that, Lucknow Declaration was signed for better cooperation between India and African nations in the field of defense. Defense Ministry was also in news as recently new department was set up in Defense Ministry, and the name of this department is DMA, that is Department of Military Affairs, and this department is to be headed by CDS, that is Chief of Defense Staff. The first CDS is General Bipin Rawat. Now CDS is going to be the part of Defense Acquisition Council. Answer in comment box who is the head of Defense Acquisition Council. Which state has recently issued orders to limit the retail price of bottled drinking water? So this state is Kerala, and the state government has decided to set the upper limit of drinking water bottle. That means the upper price limit was set by the state government, and it is rupee 13 per liter. Previous limit was 20 rupee per liter. So now the state government has made this as essential commodity, and therefore it cannot be sold above 13 rupee per liter. Now Kerala was also in news as it was the first state to pass resolution against CAA. On the other hand, Puducherry is the first union territory to pass resolution against CAA. Kerala was also in news as recently the first LNG bus service of India was started in Kochi in Kerala. On the other hand, first intracity electric bus service was started in Maharashtra? Answer in comment box. It was started between which two cities of Maharashtra? As per the recent amendment to FDI on civil aviation, what is the limit for NRI to purchase equity stakes in Air India? So recently government changed FDI norms in civil aviation sector. The previous FDI limit was 49%. Now it has been increased up to 100% for NRI. So now NRI can buy up to 100% equity stakes in Air India. It should be noted that the government has already proposed strategic disinvestment of 100% of Air India. That means now government is willing to make this as completely private owned company. Now Air India was also in news as recently Mr. Rajiv Bansal was appointed as the CMD of Air India. The integrated sports complex named after Chief Minister Mr. P.A. Sangma is to come up in which Indian state? Right answer is Meghalaya. So this sports complex was in news as the foundation of this complex was set up in Meghalaya. It should be noted that the construction of this complex will be completed by 2022, and in the same year Meghalaya will be the host of National Games. This year Goa is the host of National Games, and the state bird of Goa is Rubigula. Rubigula is the mascot of this year's National Games. Goa was also in news as recently India's first floating jetty has been inaugurated in Goa in Panji on the banks of Mandovi River. Which city is the venue of India Pharma 2020 and India Medical Device 2020 conference and exhibition that was organized by Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers in association with FICCI? So right answer is Gandhinagar in Gujarat. So this event ended on 7th of March. Now if we talk about Gujarat, recently the 13th Conference of Parties of Convention on Migratory Species was organized in Gujarat. Gujarat was also in news as recently second tallest statue of Sardar Patel was inaugurated in Gujarat. The tallest statue of Sardar Patel is Statue of Unity, and recently it was included in SCO list of 8 wonders. SCO stands for Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Gujarat was also in news as recently KVIC started first silk processing plant in Gujarat in Surendranagar district. KVIC stands for Khadi and Village Industries Commission, and it is under Ministry of MSME. Present minister is Mr. Nitin Gadkari. His constituency is Nagpur. National Safety Day is observed annually on which date? So it is observed on 4th of March, and the week is observed as National Safety Week, and the theme of this event was Enhanced Safety and Health Performance. Which institution has announced a fast-track aid of $12 billion to combat coronavirus outbreak? So recently this was announced by World Bank. Now the president of World Bank is David Malpass, and recently World Bank was also in news as the chief economist of World Bank, Ms. P.K. Goldberg, announced her resignation. Now if we talk about support by various institutions against coronavirus, recently United Nations announced funding from CERF. CERF stands for Central Emergency Response Fund. Apart from that, recently UK announced that it is going to provide funding to CEPI so that vaccines can be developed against coronavirus. Answer in comment box, what is the full form of CEPI? Which international institution released a report, A New Era for Girls, taking stock of 25 years of progress? So this report was released by UNICEF, that is United Nations Children's Fund. Javier Perez, who recently passed away, was the former chief of which organization? So he was the former chief of United Nations, and he passed away recently in his native country, Peru. Peru is South American country. Nations present Secretary General is Antonio Guterres. He is from Portugal. The capital is Lisbon, and recently elections held in Portugal, and Mr. Antonio Costa got re-elected as the Prime Minister. Apart from that, recently the President of Portugal was in India? Answer in comment box what was the name of the President of Portugal. The area of which city of Rajasthan was declared as no construction zone as per the recent Rajasthan Municipality Amendment Bill of 2020? So right answer is Jaipur. So Jaipur was declared as no construction zone. Now it should be noted that UNESCO had mandated to declare Rajasthan as a no construction zone. So this is done to protect and to preserve the heritage and to promote tourism in the state. Now if we talk about Rajasthan, Rajasthan is the first state in India to implement biofuel policy. Denis Samgal, who was in news recently, has been elected as the Prime Minister of which country? So he has been elected as the Prime Minister of Ukraine. Ukraine was also in news because of Crimea. The President of Ukraine is Mr. Volodymyr Zelensky. The recently released book titled Chronicles of Change Champions is a compilation of initiatives taken under which scheme? So this is related to Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao scheme. And recently, Ms. Smriti Irani, who is a Women and Child Development Minister, released this Chronicles of Change Champions. It should be noted that this Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao scheme was launched by Prime Minister Mr. Modi in 2015 in Panipat in Haryana. And it is a tri-ministerial initiative. That means 3 ministries are cooperating for this initiative. These 3 ministries are Ministry of Women and Child Development, MHRD, that means Ministry of Human Resource Development, and Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. SCORES is a mobile application of which regulatory body of India? So it is a mobile application of SEBI, that is Security Exchange Board of India, and it is a mobile application for assisting investors to enter the grievances in SEBI Complaints Redressal System. So the full form of SCORES is SEBI Complaints Redress System. Now if we talk about SEBI, it is Security Exchange Board of India. It is a statutory body. The headquarters is in Mumbai, and recently SEBI was in news as SEBI chairman Mr. Ajay Tyagi was given 6 months extension. SEBI was also in news as recently SEBI constituted a committee for municipal bonds, and this committee is to be headed by Mr. Sujit Prasad. Time magazine has named which Indian women as the Women of Year 1947 in its recent recreated list of world's 100 powerful women. Right answer is Miss Amrit Kaur. So Miss Amrit Kaur, who was a freedom fighter, has been named by the Time magazine as Women of the Year for 1947. And the former Prime Minister Miss Indira Gandhi was named as Women of the Year for 1976. It should be noted that Ms. Amrit Kaur became the first woman to join the cabinet when she served as Health Minister, and she founded ICCW. ICCW stands for Indian Council for Child Welfare. Which airport of Maharashtra has been renamed as Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj Airport? So recently, Aurangabad Airport has been renamed as Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj Airport. It should be noted that Chhatrapati Sambhaji was the son of great Maratha warrior Chhatrapati Shivaji, and this airport is operated by AAI, that is Airports Authority of India. Now, if we talk about Maharashtra, recently Maharashtra was in news because of Cyber Safe initiative. Maharashtra was also in news as it was the top state in terms of medal tally in Khelo India Youth Games. Apart from that, Maharashtra was also in news as recently government decided to provide 5 days a week working culture to the government employees. That means now government employees will have to work for 5 days and they will get 2 days as holiday in a week. Which Indian institute has developed an artificial intelligence powered drone to counter the unregulated unmanned drones? So this was done by IIT Madras, and with the help of this new system, it can hack into the GPS system of unregulated drones, which are also known as rogue drone. So with the help of system of IIT Madras, the GPS system of unregulated drones can be hacked, and then it can be directed to change the path of that unregulated drone, which is India's 5th largest private sector bank that is under crisis and for which the Reserve Bank of India is devising a revival plan. So, right answer is Yes Bank. And the founder of Yes Bank, Mr. Rana Kapoor, was recently arrested by ED. ED stands for Enforcement Directorate. Now, it should be noted that RBI has imposed moratorium on Yes Bank. That means it has imposed limitations on Yes Bank, and the withdrawal limitation is Rupee 50,000 per account as of now. It should be noted that the previous board of Yes Bank was superseded and CFO of SBI Bank, Mr. Prashant Kumar, was appointed as the administrator of Yes Bank. According to the recent estimates, United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, which economy is the most affected economy by coronavirus outbreak? So as per the report, EU, that is European Union, is the most affected economy due to coronavirus outbreak, while USA is the second most affected and Japan is the third most affected country. India is among the top 15 economies that were most affected by the coronavirus outbreak. Now, the outbreak of coronavirus started from Wuhan in China, and the official name of this disease due to coronavirus is COVID-19. The official name was provided by WHO, that is World Health Organization. In India, first case of coronavirus was found in Kerala. UNCTAD also published World Investment Report. Answer in comment box which organization published Global Economic Outlook. Darren Tang of Singapore has been nominated as the new Director General of which global organization? So, he has been named as the new DG of WIPO, that is World Intellectual Property Organization. And Mr. Darren Tang is from Singapore. If we talk about WIPO, it was formed in 1967 and the headquarters of WIPO is in Geneva. Geneva is in Switzerland. Who has been appointed as new Chief Information Commissioner of India after Mr. Sudhir Bhargav? Right answer is Mr. Bimal Julka. So Mr. Bimal Julka has been appointed as new CIC. It should be noted that CIC is the Chief Information Commissioner and he is the head of Central Information Commission. Now the Central Information Commission has been constituted as per the provisions of RTI Act, that is Right to Information Act. So as per the mandate of RTI, there should be one Chief Information Commissioner and 10 Information Commissioners, and the Chief Information Commissioner is appointed by the President of India, and the Chief Information Commissioner is appointed on the recommendation of a body, and it is a high-powered body. It constitutes Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition and a Minister nominated by the Prime Minister of India. Now, this is the committee for CIC. For CVC, that is Central Vigilance Commissioner, the high-powered committee constitutes Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition and Home Minister. Which leader has been named Greatest Leader of All Time in a poll conducted by BBC World Histories magazine? Right answer is Maharaja Ranjit Singh. So as per this poll conducted by BBC, the 19th century ruler of Sikh Empire in India, Maharaja Ranjit Singh, has been named as the greatest leader of all time. Which Indian business leader received an award for excellence in business by Egypt government at the Women Economic Forum 2020? Right answer is Dr. Robina Modi. She is the chairperson of Modi Enterprises and recently she was awarded at the Women Economic Forum 2020. Now, if we talk about Egypt, recently Egypt was in news as the former president of Egypt, Mr. Hosni Mubarak, passed away. Google is set to launch its second cloud region in which Indian city? Right answer is Delhi. So, this one is going to be the second cloud region in our country. The first one is in Mumbai. Now, it should be noted that this region, which is estimated to be launched in 2021, would be the 8th region in Asia Pacific, and globally it is going to be the 22nd. Now, Google was also in news as recently it launched Pehle Safety campaign. It is a cyber safety initiative. The parent company of Google is Alphabet. Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, National Urban Livelihood Mission, recently partnered with which e-commerce company for marketing products of SHG. SHG stands for Self-Help Group. So recently, Amazon partnered with Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana National Urban Livelihood Mission. And through this partnership, the platform of Amazon will be used for the marketing of products of self-help groups. Apart from that, a similar collaboration was recently done with Flipkart. Now, if we talk about Amazon, recently it launched Project Zero. The objective of this initiative was to prevent the sale of counterfeit or fake goods. Which Indian sportsperson has been named Sportsperson of the Year at Times of India Sports Awards? Right answer is PV Sindhu. So, she was named Sportsperson of the Year at Times of India Sports Awards. She also received the Unbreakable Spirit of Sports Award and Badminton Player of the Year. Apart from her, former Indian football captain Mr. Baichung Bhutia was presented the Lifetime Achievement Award. On the other hand, Mr. P. Gopichand won the Mentor of the Year Award. The recently announced Indo-European Union flagship call is associated with which field? So it is associated to energy, and recently it was announced by the Secretary of Department of Science and Technology and by the European Ambassador to India. Women Transforming India Awards is instituted by which organization? So it is instituted by Niti Aayog, and this was presented on the International Women's Day, that means on 8th of March. Now, if we talk about Niti Aayog, recently Niti Aayog released School Education Quality Index. As per this index, Kerala is the top performing state while Uttar Pradesh is the worst performing state. Apart from that, Niti Aayog also released India's first India Innovation Index, and as per this index, Karnataka is the top performing state. Niti Aayog was also in news as recently it released SDG India Index. Answer in comment box, as per this index, which state is the top performing state? PEMFC, that is Polymer Electrolyte Membrane Fuel Cells, which was making news recently, is to be deployed in which field? So it is associated to disaster management, and a research center under Department of Science and Technology has developed this, and it is useful in natural disaster management. Which organization announced a $50 billion package for low-income countries to combat coronavirus outbreak through its rapid disbursing emergency financing facilities? So, right answer is IMF, that is International Monetary Fund. So, the funding amount is $50 billion. Apart from that, recently, World Bank as well as United Nations also announced financial support for fight against coronavirus. Namaste Orcha festival is celebrated in which Indian state? So it is celebrated in Madhya Pradesh. Madhya Pradesh was also in news as recently India's first e-waste clinic was set up in Madhya Pradesh, and it is collaboration between Bhopal Municipal Corporation and CPCB. Madhya Pradesh was also in news as recently it appointed Mr. Govinda for the promotion of tourism in the state. Apart from that, Madhya Pradesh also decided to provide 5% reservation to the sports persons in government jobs. CPCB is under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and it is a statutory body. Chapchar Kut is a popular festival of which Indian state or union territory? So, it is a popular festival of Mizoram, and it is celebrated to welcome the spring season. Now, this festival is celebrated by all people of the state, and people participate in the dance and musical events, including the traditional bamboo dance Cherao. Bipasa Chakrabarti was recently appointed as the Communications Director of which technological company's Indian arm? So, right answer is Facebook India. So, Ms. Bipasa Chakrabarti has been appointed as the Communication Director of Facebook India. Now, if we talk about Facebook, recently Facebook was also in news because of GOAL. GOAL stands for Going Online as Leaders. So, this is a collaboration between Facebook and Ministry of Tribal Affairs. And the objective of this initiative is to create a platform for young tribal girls to emerge as the leaders of community. In the context of recent Supreme Court ruling on right of an organization to receive foreign contributions, what does FCRA stands for? So FCRA stands for Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, and recently Supreme Court ruled that an organization supporting the public cause by the legitimate means of opposition like bandh or with the help of hartal cannot be deprived of its right to receive foreign funding. It should be noted that the foreign funding of NGO, that means non-governmental organization, is monitored using FCRA. FCRA stands for Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. So this is the act which monitors the foreign funding of these organizations, and this act was enacted in 2010. Who is the chairperson of recently reconstituted National Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction? Right answer is Union Home Minister. So Mr. Amit Shah is the chairperson of recently reconstituted National Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction. Now, if we talk about Mr. Amit Shah, recently he was in news as he chaired Eastern Zonal Council. So this Zonal Council meeting held in Bhubaneswar in Orissa. If we talk about Zonal Council, it is a statutory body which has been constituted as per the provisions of State Reorganization Act of 1956. Now, if we talk about Orissa, it was also in news as it was the host of first ever University Games edition of Khelo India Games. That means first ever Khelo India University Games. And in these games, Punjab University of Chandigarh won the maximum number of medals. Odisha was also in news because of Mission Purvodaya. Answer in comment box, what is the objective of this Mission Purvodaya? The Ministry of Women and Child Development organized a discussion on the future of work, women in India's workforce, in association with which global organization? So, for this, Ministry of Women and Child Development partnered with the World Bank. Present Minister of Women and Child Development is Ms. Smriti Irani. Her constituency is Amethi. Amethi is in Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh was also in news as it was the host of this year's Defense Expo. Now, Ms. Smriti Irani was also in news as recently she launched Yashaswini scheme in Goa. Goa was also in news as it is going to be the host of this year's National Games. Answer in comment box, what is the mascot of this year's National Games? Apart from that, Goa was also in news as IDSA has been renamed after the former Chief Minister of Goa, Mr. Manohar Parrikar. Answer in comment box, what is the full form of IDSA? What is the theme of campaign conducted by Indian Railways to celebrate International Women's Day? So the name of this campaign is Each for Equal, and this campaign started from 1st of March to 10th of March to celebrate the International Women's Day, and International Women's Day is celebrated on 8th of March, and the theme of this campaign is Each for Equal. Apart from that, the Indian Railway is also focusing on She Inspires Us. So this campaign highlights the inspiring stories of women achievers. Now, if we talk about Indian Railways, recently RPF, that is Railway Protection Force, has been renamed as Indian Railways Protection Force Service. Apart from that, Indian Railway was also in news as recently the chairman of Railway Board was given extension of 1 year. Answer in comment box, who is the chairman of Railway Board? Which state or union territory has recently launched a school health education plan called Student Health Card? So the name of this union territory is Jammu and Kashmir. So this initiative has been started by the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, the state of Jammu and Kashmir was bifurcated into two union territories on 31st of October. One union territory is Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, another one is Ladakh. Now the LG of, that means Lieutenant Governor of Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, is Mr. G.C. Murmu. 31st of October is also celebrated as National Unity Day. It is the birth anniversary of Sardar Patel. Recently, Sardar Patel was in news as the second tallest statue of Sardar Patel was inaugurated in Gujarat in Ahmedabad. Now, if we talk about Gujarat, recently Gujarat was in news as the 13th Conference of Parties of CMS, that is Convention on the Conservation of Migratory Species, held in Gujarat. And the mascot of this event was GB, that is Great Indian Bustard. What is the profession of Barry John, who is recently selected for the Lifetime Achievement Honor in 2020 Mehta Awards? So, right answer is Theatre Director. So, Mr. Barry John is Theatre Director, and Mehta stands for Mahindra Excellence in Theatre Awards. According to the recent study of United Nations Global Compact, India, what is the female labor force participation in our country in 2020? So, right answer is 24.8%. So, as per the study conducted by UNGC India, the female labor force participation in our country has declined from 34% in 2006 to 24.8% in 2020. So, it clearly shows a gender gap in labor force participation. Now, if we talk about gender gap, there is a gender gap index which is prepared by World Economic Forum. And as per this index, India is on 112nd position. On the other hand, Bangladesh is the top performing country in South Asia as per this gender gap index. Bangladesh is on 50th position. Now, if we talk about World Economic Forum, the recent meeting of World Economic Forum held in Davos, and in this meeting, Mr. Piyush Goyal led the Indian delegation. Now, coming back to this labor force participation study, so the study also found that India is the only country among 153 countries where economic gender gap is larger than the political gap. Now, the same story is repeated in the Gender Gap Index of World Economic Forum. In that case also, India is performing quite better in political participation. What is the rank of India in the Freedom in World 2020 report, which is published by US-based NGO Freedom House? So, India's ranking is 83rd. Now, this report is published by US-based NGO Freedom House. It should be noted that as per this report, India has become one of the world's least free democracies. Which country recently announced an emergency fund of $8.3 billion for tackling the coronavirus outbreak? So, this country is USA. Now, this outbreak of coronavirus started from Wuhan in China. And the official name of disease due to coronavirus is COVID-19. And this name was given by WHO, that is World Health Organization. Now, if we talk about China, China is the host of 2022 Winter Olympic Games. On the other hand, the 2026 Winter Olympic Games are going to be in Italy. Italy was also in news as recently it decided to impose digital tax on the various digital companies. It is similar to GAFA tax of France. GAFA stands for Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon. Now, if we talk about coronavirus, the first case of coronavirus in India was found in Kerala. What is the new official name of Mars 2020 rover of NASA? So, the official name is Perseverance. NASA stands for National Aeronautics and Space Administration. It is a space agency of USA. Now, if we talk about this rover, so it is going to search the sign of microbial life on Mars. Mars is also known as Red Planet. Now, if we talk about USA, USA is going to be the host of this year's G7 summit. The last year G7 summit held in France. It should be noted that this FATF is also a G7 initiative. FATF stands for Financial Action Task Force. And recently FATF decided to continue Pakistan in grey list. The headquarters of FATF is in France, in Paris, and it is in the Secretariat of OECD, that is Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Now, OECD conducts PISA. Answer in comment box, what is the full form of PISA? Namaste is a portal of which Union Ministry of India? So, it is a portal of Ministry of Ayush. And this Namaste stands for National Ayush Morbidity and Standardized Terminologies Electronic Portal. So, it has been developed by Ministry of Ayush. Ayush Ministry also developed NAMC, that is National Ayurveda Morbidity Codes, and it is a comprehensive classification of diseases described in, and these codes are available on this Namaste portal. Which state has recently announced subsidy for orthodox tea growers in its budget? So this state is Assam, and during its budget it provided special subsidy initiatives for the orthodox tea growers to provide them financial support. Now Assam was also in news as it was the host of this year's Khelo India Youth Games. Assam was also in news because of Abhinandan scheme. Answer in comment box what is the objective of this Abhinandan scheme. Now if we talk about Khelo India Youth Games, Maharashtra won the maximum number of medals in this event, while Haryana was on second position in terms of medal tally. Now Maharashtra was also in news as recently India's first electric bus service, that means intercity bus service, was started in Maharashtra. Apart from that, Maharashtra was also in news because of 5-day-a-week initiative. That means government employees will have to work for 5 days and they will get 2 days as holiday. Maharashtra was also in news because of the cabinet decision to set up the 13th major port in Maharashtra. Answer in comment box, it will be set up at which place in Maharashtra? Which state launched an initiative called Safe Homes to provide safe accommodation to the inter-caste and inter-religious couples? So this is an initiative of Kerala government to provide accommodation to the couples who have married outside their caste or religion. So the objective is to ensure their safety and security. Now, if we talk about Kerala, Kerala was also in news as recently it approached Supreme Court under Article 131 in the context of CAA, that is Citizenship Amendment Act. Apart from that, Kerala was also in news as recently it decided to ban CFL and filament bulbs. Kerala was also in news as recently the first LNG bus service of India was started in Kochi in Kerala. BARC, which has been named as the top NGO of the world, is from which country? So, Bangladesh. Secured the first position for the 5th consecutive year, and it is a international development organization. It was set up in 1972, and this NGO aimed at helping the returning of war refugees with help and rehabilitation projects. So it is a Bangladesh based NGO. Now if we talk about Bangladesh, Bangladesh was also in news as it became the first state in South Asia to start e-passport service. Apart from that, Bangladesh was also in news as recently Bangladesh team won Under 19 Cricket World Cup. Apart from that, recently Australian team won the T20 Women's World Cup. Australia won it by defeating India. Answer in comment box who is the present captain of T20 Women's Team of India. Which state has recently launched a digital literacy program titled I Am Also Digital? So it is a digital literacy initiative of Kerala government, and the pilot project will be launched in Thiruvananthapuram City Corporation. Now if we talk about Kerala, the state was also in news as India's first LNG bus service was started in Kerala in Kochi. Apart from that, state was also in news as recently Yodhavu app was launched to curb the drug menace. In addition to that, Kerala was also in news as recently the first case of coronavirus in India was found in Kerala. The official name of disease due to coronavirus is COVID-19. The renovated Animal Transport Memorial was recently inaugurated by the Indian Army in which city? So it was inaugurated in Bengaluru. Now Bengaluru is in Karnataka. It should be noted that 26th of September has been nominated as the Animal Transport Remembrance Day. Now coming back to Karnataka, Karnataka was also in news as it is the top state as per India Innovation Index, and this index is published by Niti Aayog. Apart from that, Karnataka was also in news as recently the state government decided to install GPS devices in the garbage disposal trucks used in the capital city of Karnataka. Karnataka was also in news as it has witnessed maximum increment in forest cover as per the latest State of Forest report. Answer in comment box which state has the largest area under forest cover as per the latest report. The book titled Adventures of Daredevil Democrat, which was recently published, narrates the story of which former chief minister. So this particular book narrates the story of Mr. Biju Patnaik, and this book was recently released by the present chief minister of Orissa, Mr. Naveen Patnaik. Mr. Naveen Patnaik is the son of Mr. Biju Patnaik. Who is the chairperson of high-level panel recently set up to prepare an investigation manual for Serious Fraud Investigation Office? So recently government constituted a 12-member high-level panel to prepare an investigation manual for SFIO. Now if we talk about this SFIO, it is under Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and this high-level panel will be headed by Mr. Injeti Srinivas. Avni Chaturvedi, Bhavna Kant and Mohana Singh, who recently received the Nari Shakti Puruskar Award, are associated with which profession? So these ladies were in news recently as they are fighter pilots, and recently President Mr. Ramnath Kovind presented the Nari Shakti Puruskar on the occasion of International Women's Day, that means on 8th of March. Which city was the venue of conference on empowering women entrepreneurs that was organized by MSME Ministry? So this conference held in New Delhi, and this conference was organized by Ministry of MSME in collaboration with various other organizations, and MSME Minister Mr. Nitin Gadkari inaugurated this conference. Mr. Nitin Gadkari is Member of Parliament from Nagpur constituency. Nagpur is in Maharashtra. Now MSME was also in news as KVIC is under MSME Ministry. KVIC stands for Khadi and Village Industries Commission, and recently KVIC partnered with Titan to prepare wristwatches made up of Khadi. Women Scientist Scheme and Vigyan Jyoti are the schemes of which union ministry? So these are the schemes of Ministry of Science and Technology. Actually, recently these schemes were in news as Union Minister for Science and Technology Dr. Harshvardhan launched a new helpline, and this helpline aims at assisting women students, researchers and scientists to get their queries answered related to the schemes of Ministry of Science and Technology. So right answer is Ministry of Science and Technology. Hansraj Bharadwaj, who passed away recently, was the former Union Minister of which portfolio? So Mr. Hansraj Bharadwaj was the former Union Minister of Law and Justice, and he was associated to INC, that is Indian National Congress, and he passed away recently. Who is the first Indian cricketer to play in 150 Ranjit Trophy matches? So Mr. Hashim Jaffer is the first Indian cricketer to play 150 Ranjit Trophy matches. Now recently he was in news as he announced his retirement from all forms of the game. Which Indian sportsperson was named the Changemaker of Year at Business Line Changemaker Awards? So right answer is Duti Chand. So Indian athlete Duti Chand was awarded Changemaker of the Year jointly with ISRO, that is Indian Space Research Organization, for bringing the change in society. Now it should be noted that Duti Chand is India's fastest female sprinter with national record of 11.22 seconds in 100 meter dash. If we talk about ISRO, it is Indian Space Research Organization. The chief of ISRO is Dr. K. Sivan. Headquarters of ISRO is in Bengaluru, and ISRO is under Department of Space. Who is the head of Delimitation Commission that was recently set up to redraw the Lok Sabha and Assembly constituencies in Jammu and Kashmir and 4 northeastern states? So, right answer is Justice Ranjana Prakash Desai. So, Justice Ranjana Prakash Desai is going to be the head of this Delimitation Commission for the redrawal of constituencies in Jammu and Kashmir and 4 northeast states. Actually, during the last Delimitation Commission, these 4 northeast states, namely Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur and Nagaland, along with Jammu and Kashmir, were left out during the 2002 Delimitation Commission. Now, the commission was recently set up to redraw the Lok Sabha and Assembly constituencies of these states and union territories, and this commission will be headed by Justice Ranjana Prakash Desai. Now, it should be noted that this Delimitation Commission is a high-powered body. That means the decision of this Delimitation Commission cannot be challenged in court of law. And so far, 4 Delimitation Commission has been constituted. India recently joined the Indian Ocean Commission as observer. Now, the question is, IOC comprises of how many member nations? So, right answer is 5. So, IOC comprises of 5 African Indian Ocean nations. These are Comoros, Madagascar, Mauritius, Reunion Islands, and Seychelles. And recently, India became the observer. Apart from India, China and EU are also the observer of Indian Ocean Commission. And this commission was set up in 1984. Now, if we talk about Madagascar, recently Madagascar was also in news because of cyclone Dian. And because of this cyclone, there was huge devastation in the country, and that is why Indian Navy also launched Operation Vanilla to provide humanitarian assistance to Madagascar. Now, answer in comment box, this Reunion Islands is the overseas territory of which European country? The recently launched Mahatma Gandhi National Fellowship Program is a part of Sankalp scheme of which union ministry? So, it is a part of Sankalp scheme of Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. And as per this initiative, the district level programs are developed to provide skill to the manpower. Which female hockey player won the Dhruv Batra Player of the Year Award 2019 at Hockey India Annual Awards? So, right answer is Rani Rampal. So, the present captain of India's hockey team, Miss Rani Rampal, was selected for this particular award. So, she was selected in female category, while in male category, Mr. Manpreet Singh was awarded. Now, recently, Mr. Manpreet Singh became the first Indian player to win FIH Men's Player of the Year. On the other hand, Ms. Rani Rampal became the first Indian athlete to win the prestigious World Games Athlete of the Year 2019. Which country's cricket team won the Women's T20 World Cup? So, Australia won it by defeating India. And this tournament held in Australia. Now, apart from this, recently Bangladesh won the Under-19 Cricket World Cup by defeating India. And this event held in South Africa. The president of South Africa is Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa. And recently, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa was in news as he became the chair of African Union. That means South Africa is now the present chair of African Union. Answer in comment box. The most recent summit of African Union held in which country? Digi Pivot, a skill development program for women, is launched by which major technological company? So, this initiative is an initiative of Google, and the objective of this initiative is to provide a skill development program for women who seek to return to their corporate careers after a break or who are planning to shift to digital marketing career. Now, Google was also in news because of Pehle Safety campaign. So, this campaign is about cyber awareness. The parent company of Google is Alphabet. C.V. Nageshwar was recently appointed as the Deputy MD and CFO of which Indian bank? So, Mr. Nageshwar has been given the additional charge of Deputy MD and CFO of State Bank of India. Now recently, SBI was also in news as it is going to invest in Yes Bank. SBI is going to pick up 49% in Yes Bank. Now Yes Bank was in news recently as RBI put Yes Bank in moratorium. That means temporary restrictions were imposed on Yes Bank. Now recently RBI also appointed new administrator for Yes Bank. Now answer in comment box who is this new administrator which was appointed by Reserve Bank of India. Now SBI, ICICI and SDFC, these three banks are part of DSIB. DSIB means Domestic Systematically Important Banks. So as per RBI, these three banks are very crucial for Indian economy. Who is the first super heavyweight Indian boxer to qualify for Olympic Games? Right answer is Mr. Satish Kumar. So Mr. Satish Kumar is the first super heavyweight, that means in 91 plus kg category. So Mr. Satish Kumar is the first super heavyweight Indian boxer to qualify for Tokyo Olympic Games. Now if we talk about Tokyo, these are going to be in Japan. So these games are Summer Olympic Games and this 2020 edition is going to be hosted by Japan, while 2024 Summer Olympic Games are going to be in France. On the other hand, 2022 Winter Olympic Games are going to be in China, while 2026 Winter Olympic Games are going to be in Italy. Answer in comment box which country is the host of next Commonwealth Games. Kowa Punjab mobile app launched by Punjab Government is aimed to spread awareness on which disease? So this mobile application has been launched by the state government of Punjab to spread awareness about coronavirus. Now, if we talk about Punjab government, recently it was also in news as it passed resolution against CAA, that is Citizenship Amendment Act. State government was also in news as recently it reduced retirement age to 58. State government was also in news as recently it decided to put a ban on online lottery. Lieutenant General KJS Dhillon has been recently appointed as the Director General of which organization? Right answer is DIA, that is Defense Intelligence Agency. So Lieutenant General KJS Dhillon has been appointed as the DG of Tri-Services Organization DIA, that means Defense Intelligence Agency, and this DIA, that means Defense Intelligence Agency Chief, will function under CDS, that is Chief of Defense Staff, and first CDS is General Bipin Rawat. Now if we talk about CDS, CDS is going to be the head DMA. DMA stands for Department of Military Affairs, and this DMA is going to be headed by CDS, and this DMA is under Defense Ministry. And recently the Defense Expo held in Lucknow. Lucknow is in Uttar Pradesh. Sadi Bhagya scheme, which was making news recently, is a scheme of which state government? So it is a scheme of Karnataka state government. And the objective of this particular initiative is to provide the financial assistance to the brides for marriage expenses. Now Karnataka was also in news as it was the top state as per India Innovation Index. It was prepared by Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog is an executive body, and recently Niti Aayog was also in news as it released School Education Quality Index. This index was topped by Kerala, and recently Kerala was in news as first LNG bus service was started in Kerala. Apart from that, India's first intercity electric bus service was started in Maharashtra. Which country recently joined as the 16th member in E-Vidya Bharati Arogya Bharati network of MEA, that is Ministry of External Affairs? So right answer is Gambia. So this is an initiative of Ministry of External Affairs. The tombs of Taramati and Premamati, which were in news recently, are in which state of India? So these are in Telangana. And recently these tombs were in news as recently the US Ambassador to India announced the completion of US funded restoration project of the tombs of Taramati and Premamati within the Qutub Shahi Tombs Complex, and it is in Hyderabad in Telangana. What is the theme of International Women's Day? Right answer is I am Generation Equality, Realizing Women's Rights. So every year on 8th of March, International Women's Day is celebrated, and the theme of this year was I am Generation Equality, Realizing Women's Right. Now it should be noted that this time it marked the 25th anniversary of Beijing Declaration, and the campaign theme of this year's International Women's Day was Each for Equal. Now if we talk about Beijing, it is in China, and recently China was in news because of coronavirus outbreak, and this outbreak started from Wuhan. Answer in comment box, Wuhan is the capital of which province of China? Ankita Raina, who was in news recently, is associated to which sports? So C is associated to tennis. Which state is to set up an exclusive department for self-help group called Mission Shakti? So recently Orissa decided to set up an exclusive department for self-help group. Now, in addition to this exclusive department, the state government has also introduced independent nutrition budget, and this focus on the nutrition enhancement of all mothers and children of the state. The traditional festival Phagli is celebrated in which Indian state? So it is celebrated in Himachal Pradesh, and it is celebrated to mark the beginning of Spring Festival. Now Himachal Pradesh was also in news as it was the theme state this year's festival of Suraj Kund Mela, and Suraj Kund Mela is popular festival of Haryana. Haryana was also in news because it decided to set up reading mission to help students to read better. Nupur Kulshrestha has become the first woman Deputy Inspector General of which Indian Armed Force or CAPF? Right answer is Indian Coast Guard. So she became the first woman to be promoted as DIG of Indian Coast Guard. Now it should be noted that Indian Coast Guard was formally established in 1978 by Coast Guard Act, and it operates under Ministry of Defense. UNSC has recently approved the resolution of which country on its deal with Taliban? So Taliban is a militant group of Afghanistan, and recently Taliban and USA signed peace deal, and recently this peace deal was approved through the resolution of UNSC. So right answer is US, and this peace deal was signed in Doha. Doha is in Qatar, and Doha is the capital of Qatar. Recently Qatar was in news as in 2019 it left OPEC, that is Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. The headquarters of OPEC is in Vienna. Vienna is in Austria. Apart from that, Ecuador this year, that means from 2020, Ecuador is not a member of OPEC. The headquarters of IAEA, that is International Atomic Energy Agency, is also in Vienna in Austria. Now answer in comment box whether Austria is a member of OPEC or not. Which global organization recently adopted a political declaration on women's rights? So this is done by United Nations, and this adopted declaration follows the theme of Beijing Declaration of 1995, and this declaration sought to promote progress of women around the world. As per the Trends in International Arms Transfer Report, which country was the largest arms importer during 2015 to 2019? So, as per this report of SIPRI, Saudi Arabia is the largest arms importer, while India is on second position in terms of arms import. On the other hand, Russia is the largest supplier, and top 3 importers are Saudi Arabia, India, Egypt. Now, if we talk about SIPRI, it stands for Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, and this organization prepared this Trends in International Arms Transfer Report. Which is the national slogan of Bangladesh as per the order of Bangladesh High Court? So High Court of Bangladesh ruled that Joy Bangla will be the national slogan of Bangladesh. Now, Bangladesh was also in news as recently the under-19 team of Bangladesh won Cricket World Cup, and Bangladesh won it by defeating India. On the other hand, Australia won the Women's T20 World Cup by defeating India, and this event held in Australia. On the other hand, this under-19 World Cup tournament held in South Africa. Which Indian sports person won the inaugural BBC Indian Sportswoman of the Year award? So, right answer is Miss PV Sindhu. So, she won the first edition of BBC Indian Sportswoman of the Year award, and in 2019, Miss PV Sindhu became the first Indian to win Badminton World Championship gold. Who is the only Indian player to feature in ICC Women's T20 World Cup team of the tournament? Right answer is Poonam Yadav. So, she is the only Indian player to feature in the ICC Women's T20 World Cup team of the tournament. Now, if we talk about ICC, the headquarters of ICC is in Dubai. Dubai is in UAE, and Dubai was also in news as recently world's first camel hospital was started in Dubai. On the other hand, UAE was also in news as recently world's first graduate level artificial intelligence university was set up in UAE, and the name of this university is Mohammed bin Zayed University of Artificial Intelligence. Apart from that, UAE was also in news as recently it became the first country in Arab world to set up a nuclear power plant, and the name of this nuclear power plant is Barak Nuclear Power Plant. Nigah, a mobile application to curb election malpractices, is an initiative of which Indian state? So it is an initiative of Andhra Pradesh, and through this mobile application, any person can file complaint about the corruption during an election campaign. Now, if we talk about few other apps which were in news recently RBI launched Money app to help visually challenged people to identify currency notes. On the other hand, recently Labour Ministry launched Santusht app to address the issues of beneficiaries of ESI, that is Employee State Insurance Scheme. Apart from that, recently Humsafar app was also in news. It was launched with an objective of delivering fuel at doorsteps of housing societies, hotels and hospitals in the NCR region. So it is related to fuel. As per the recent Inclusive Internet Index 2020 of EIU, that is Economist Intelligence Unit, which is the best performing country in the world. So right answer is Sweden. Sweden is the best performing country, and Sweden is followed by New Zealand and USA. India is on 46th position this year. Last year, India was on 47th position. Now, it should be noted that India is a poor performer in the pillar of ensuring female access to the internet. And one important thing that should be noted is that India is also the top ranker among South Asian countries. So, these were the most important questions of second week of March. Thank you, and that's all for the day.